Oh man, Marcello's just 4-bet him here. It seems like he's got a little added confidence all of a sudden.
So it was a raise to 3,000, re-raise to about 10 from Durrrr, and now the re-raise, 27 total.
Yep.
First 4-bet of the match.
Yep. And Tom hates folding to 4-bets. It looks like he's going to take a flop here with just 8-deuce suited.
I mean, what do you mean by that, hates folding to 4-bets? How can you not fold to a 4-bet?
I mean, I've played a lot with Tom online, and I could have told you as soon as I saw Marcello 4-bet, Tom's not folding 8-deuce suited. That might make it flush.
Wow.
I don't love the play, but Tom's a very good player, and that's how he plays this hand.
How worried is Marcello starting to get about his ace-8?
Well, he's getting ready to fire, and it's clearly not a value bet, so...
Because, like, there's a big argument to say that Tom is on blown-out tilt here. I mean, he's just called a 4-bet with the ace-8-deuce after getting bluffed off a 100K pot.
It sure looks that way, but like I said, that's not tilt. That's how Tom plays against a 4-bet. He's not folding.
Marcello getting the continuation bet through, and all of a sudden, hello, darling.
Marcello up quite a bit here.
About 140,000. What do the stats say? He's out-aggressing Durrrr. Is that going to continue?
It just might.
So far, he's matched him stride for stride and then some, right? He's earned those chips, Marcello.
He certainly has. He's made some very gutsy plays to get where he is.
Raised 3,000 total.
If you're Tom Dwan right now, tell me the adjustments you're computing. More credit?
I mean, I think that his trend of paying off rivers is likely to continue after being shown that King-9 bluff, that's for sure. I think he might be forced to 3-bet a little less now that they're so deep and Marcello has shown a willingness to 4-bet. Tom may be perfectly willing to call it with 8-deuce suited once he gets 4-bet, but he's bound to know that at that point that they've each got 30,000 in there. He wishes he'd just folded it outright in the first place.
He's knuckled top pair twice here, Durrrr. I guess the idea to get value on the river, he's not going to get a lot of it.
Or induce a bluff, but yeah, he very well might get paid off here.
Obviously, if Marcello had a jack or if he had hit something.
Okay. Ace high perfectly sufficient to beat a bluff.
This game is on. Yeah, 3 was enough, Marcello said. Certainly was. And Tom Dwan, you can hear there's some shuffling going on in the background. They've just brought in a new shuffler to the game, just to kind of speed things up. These players, she's sitting behind the dealer. I mean, these players, they want to play as many hands as possible, and shuffling just takes too long sometimes.
Yeah. The Bellagio, they might have the automatic shuffler machine. The Les Ambassadeurs, they've got a dedicated shuffler on staff.
Raised 10,000 plus.
And there should also be someone back there to hold the shuffler's chair, and then another person behind that to watch the shuffle chair's holder. I think there was a Dr. Seuss poem about that, actually.
Sounds about right.
Marcello head in hands, but he must be silently saying to himself, you've got him off balance. Whatever sort of plan he came in here with was smart.
3,000 total.
Yeah.
4.
Probably wouldn't expect anything less from someone who's been as successful in business, life, that sort of thing as Marcello.
Absolutely. Said he's only been playing poker for about 3 years, but
Check.
Yeah, I try and
clearly
forget
a
about
very
that,
bright guy.
because that kind of thing hurts. It hurts me to think about that.
Marcello fills up on the turn and
3,000.
fires a bet.
Pass.
And the other thing about sort of this game being on, obviously now there's 750,000 on the table instead of 500, so chances of starting to play a big pot. Stacks are actually effectively both deeper.
Exactly, yeah. And that might change the 3-betting and 4-betting dynamic, making 3-betting a bit less desirable and 4-betting a bit more desirable, as we saw in that 8-deuce ace-8 hand that followed immediately after the stacks got deeper. Wonder if Tom might adjust by 3-betting less, or if they're just going to play some big pots.
Raise and call. Marcello has hit nada.
Tom with middle pair and a gut shot. And he's very likely to fire with. Marcello's been quite stubborn with relatively weak hands in spots like this, but more so in position than out. I think he might let this one go.
Yeah, I mean, in the Sammy match, you know, we saw so often where Sammy, he wasn't trying to compete fiercely for flops and pots he had no part of. And Marcello does not come under that description at all.
Not one bit. Marcello knows you have to fight for every last pot against a player like Durrrr.
So sick. He's still thinking about the King 9. He's still thinking about it.
How could you not be? I am too. That pot was just unreal.
Well,
It wasn't as big a pot as the 7-2 bluff against Sammy, but man, that was just an incredible play.
I mean, at the end of the day, he was getting like 7-1 odds.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty massive price.
Yeah,
You
and he
can't-
didn't think for a second about calling.
Wow.
5,000.
Wow.
Both players flopping big draws here. Open-ender for Marcello, double gut shot for Durrrr.
Call.
And Durrrr really giving Marcello a hard look. He's not the kind of guy that likes to sort of just give up here, is he?
No.
It would almost feel like, I don't know, it almost feel like fear if he did.
Wow, Marcello just instantly gets rid of the open-ended straight draw. A little surprised by that.
Poker players have good days and bad days, and Tom Dwan is no exception. However, at just 23 years old, he has learned how to deal with the pressures that can affect his game.
Everyone has an A game, a B game, whatever you want to call it. I think that I usually play pretty well in relation to how bothered I am. I think over the years I've gotten pretty good at not tilting. Obviously everyone still gets bothered some, and that happens to me. But I think I'm decent at realizing when it's happening, going for a walk or something, and at still playing fairly well even when I'm bothered. Obviously, losses are going to bother you, lack of sleep's going to bother you, playing for too many days in a row is going to bother you, anything like that. But I think I've learned to get over them fairly well, and I don't think I make any really terrible plays because of it too often.
3.
Durrrr still stuck about, I guess he's stuck about 150K or so.
Something like that.
You raise. 12,500.
Obviously, enough chips at the table that if they played an all-in pot,
Marcello with a big re-raise here. Durrrr calls quickly with a pretty strong hand in Queen 10 off.
Marcello is kind of varying his bet sizes pre-flop a lot more than Durrrr.
Yeah, definitely. It's generally not something I advocate. I think that concealing information by keeping your bet sizing consistent is a good thing. But at the same time, if you really mix it up well, you're not giving all that much away by varying it.
Check.
It's a lot more to think about for both players.
It certainly is.
I mean, the game is complicated enough, but Marcello, it's like he's...
Just adding on another level of complexity by making these little variations in what he's doing.
fun. A lot of fun.
16,000.
Tom's queen high here, not utterly without showdown value, and he does have a gut shot to the nuts. Interesting spot from both sides. Marcello's bet a little strange, too, because...
I mean, the ace is smart to represent here because he 3-bet before the flop, right?
with a weaker hand than what he actually has, yes, but he has a pair. He doesn't need to bluff so much. There's only a few hands Tom can have that are better than the 6-5 and still likely to fold to this bet.
Right.